Okay, now let's understand the three models that distinguish poor people from middle class people. Then the middle class people from those who have created their real financial independence. Let's start with a simple concept. Each of us exercises a profession. The profession itself is not important, whether you are an employee or an executive, a dentist or a lawyer. With our profession, our business, we earn money. However, each of us have to pay expenses that we will call output. Output. These outputs consists in home expenses, rent or mortgage, school, electricity and gas bills, car rental, and so on. The difference between our income and our output is called cash flow. When the cash flow is around zero, then this model is called model of poverty. It is important to understand why this is called a model of poverty. It is called like that because whatever your income is, either 2,000 euros or 20,000 euros or dollars per month, nothing changes in your life. At the end of the month, you will find yourself with zero cash, and you are forced to return to your profession in order to produce money, in order to pay your bills. Every month you go back to zero, and you are finally in what is called a model of poverty. And this kind of model is also called the famous hamster wheel. You don't get out of this anymore. When you make a lot of money, but your cash flow is zero, then with this money, you have anyway a model of poverty, but with a high level lifestyle. Actually, if your income gets stopped for whatever reason, for example, what happened in the period of COVID, your outputs will remain. But without income, your cash flow will be negative. This is the typical model of poverty situation. What about the middle class? The middle class are those that add to this model two voices. One is debt, and the other is called asset. Okay, what is an asset? Asset is that money that may be gained beside a professional activity. They may be arrived from rents, from royalties, from copyrights, or whatever. Like, for example, stars like Madonna gain money from their royalties of songs that have been written in the past, but are played nowadays. Or if you are in possession of apartments you rent out, you gain money beside your profession. So, debts are not always have not always to be seen probably negative, as soon as they are healthy debts. What are healthy debts? Healthy debts are those debts that a person contracts to make investments, like the debts you make for mortgages in order to buy apartments, which you are going to offer to rent and create assets. These debts, it is true that they have an impact on your expenses because they are part of your expenses. Every month you need to pay off these debts, these mortgages, but they will increase your income because you will rent those apartments. This is a second model of poverty which makes the difference from the middle class poverty model. The middle class, which is the most common in our society. So, what's up? There is a third level that when people focus on building assets and building more assets in order to get more royalties, more income, and continue to build assets so they will have an income which is enough or even more than enough to pay all their expenses. When your assets are high enough to allow to pay all your outputs and your profession, the earnings of your profession are not longer needed, so at this point you can choose to work full-time or part-time. You can choose to change employer. Why? Because you created what is called, you become a person, which is the dream of everybody, which is what we have to focus on, all the people. You have become a person that is financially free. You are no longer afraid of the future. And why so? Because you created an entrance, an automatic cash flow. This is the area where we should all get our eyes fixed on and use our brains, investing our time in order to create ourselves more and more assets so that our household expenses and our daily living expenses, etc., will all be maintained from here. Why is the multi-level marketing or network marketing often associated with a financial transaction? Because it goes exactly in this direction. Increases and support this model of assets balance. How do we have to do that? We will see this in my next video.